Good morning and welcome to our virtual assembly for the week beginning 24th of August 2020. So we'll be looking at lunchtimes, and there's some clarity required in terms of which year groups are getting out slightly earlier to alleviate some of the busyness that we experience at lunchtimes. So for clarity, each year group is going to get a week at a time to get out early. So it's not the same year group all the time, and particularly not the senior pupils all the time, because 10 minutes of learning on a daily basis for weeks on end is too much when you are preparing for assessments and potentially exams next year. So we'll be on a rota starting today, Monday the 24th of August, and the first years will be out 10 minutes early for lunch, and everybody else stays in class till the normal time. And then next week, S2s and so on as we go through until the October break. I met with our wonderful exec team for the first time this week since they've been appointed, and amongst many other things that we discussed, they came up with an idea of adding the barrier system, but not using the tension barriers, using some tape which is easily got rid of and disposed of for our current situation. So thank you to the exec team for those ideas, and I know that Mr. McLaughlin's been speaking to janitors to get that in place for everyone to help the queuing system at lunchtime. So Essex Study was also something that's come up, and a few questions have been asked about that. Because the sixth years in the past used to sign in to reconnect during their study periods, the reconnect room is quite small and it doesn't go well for social distancing between sixth years coming to sign in and members of staff on duty. So we've made a slight change to the location. So rather than the reconnect room, if we could ask all of our S6 learners to sign in at the reception window on the street and then go directly to your study area, which is the sunken social area. There are ongoing discussions with senior leadership team about trying to find quieter, smaller study areas for S6 pupils. So more news on that as we go through the week. The S6 social area should only be used at 3 points during the day, and that's prior to registration, at your break time and at lunchtime. It is particularly a social area. It's not very conducive to studying, and because of its proximity to classrooms, it makes it rather noisy for ongoing lessons to continue uninterrupted. Again, the exec team raised this week at their meeting that they would like some more seating, so Mrs McGill is in discussions with janitors to see what we can do to support that. And there was also a request for a stock of paper towels up there in the sixth year social area so that you can take responsibility for cleaning up. And I think that's hugely responsible, and I really appreciate the exec team taking that stance. Thank you. This has been an issue this week. A very small minority of pupils have been reported to Ellon Academy staff in regard to their dangerous and unsafe cycling behaviour. Members of the public and staff have noted that some young people, and it tends to be boys, who are cycling in a very, very dangerous way. They are weaving in and out of parked and moving cars. They are cycling up the middle of the road, sometimes doing wheelies and pushing and shoving other road users. Some walkers have been forced to move out of the way of cyclists acting in a very reckless manner. If young people wish to take bikes to school, we must encourage you to be as safe as possible. The last thing we want is for a significant accident to result in injuries or worse to any of our young pupils, and also for what that would feel like to be a driver who might be involved in an accident and how that would impact on them and their families and their lives too. So it is essential that you behave, when you're in the community, you behave in a safe manner. We would want all pupils to wear helmets, and maybe helmet storage is something that might help. So we are having discussions about potentially where we could store your helmets to keep them safe for you, because they're bulky and you potentially don't want to carry those around with you during the day. But we really must put a stop to this, and we're asking for your parents' support through my newsletter to parents this week about this as well. If you think, one of the PSAs spoke to me about this week, Mrs. Bell, and she was telling me that she'd seen something that compared your head is quite a fragile part of your body, and if your head was like a watermelon, if you were to drop that watermelon directly onto the ground, it would smash. But if the watermelon was encased, or your head was encased in a helmet, it's less likely to be injured if you were to fall off your bike in the wet, in the ice, or if you are not cycling in a safe manner. And that's something to bear in mind, just how precious you are, and to your parents and to others. The Eat Out to Help Out scheme has now found its way into schools, which is an excellent initiative. So in our school canteen, for the next 2 weeks, you can continue to get 50% discount on what you buy and your food and drinks, and that's on Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So that's a good initiative to support. So finally, some reminders. We just keep reiterating these messages to ensure that everyone is adhering to our protocols to keep safe. So follow the one-way systems, folks. 2 bells prior to registration. The first bell is the signal for S1, 2 and 3 to move to registration, and that means half of the school is moving at one time and the other half wait. The seniors wait for the second bell and then they move, and that just mitigates the movement around the school. Please social distance yourselves from adults around you in the classrooms, in corridors and other spaces in the school. It's really important that you do that for everyone's safety. Stay in your designated areas at break, lunchtime and prior to registration. A reminder, S1s are in the canteen, S2s and 3s sunken social area, S4s in the street and the foyer, S5s in their social area and the maths open learning area, S6 in the social area, humanities open learning area, S54 and S55. And we will reiterate to you, you should not be lapping, because that means you are not distancing yourselves, you are moving out of your designated area. So please don't be lapping round about the school. And to respect, one of our values, to respect the mitigations that we've put in place so that everyone remains safe and Ellon Academy remains open. Thank you.